Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name is Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow, like we normally do. I'm going to interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need any help with anything, you can check out the website, finding-value.com. You can join our community. You can join our Discord that we've got, and you can ask questions nonstop, either on Discord or on the question and answer sessions that I hold on the weekends. And those are both great ways to interact with me. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what is going on today. I am doing this a little bit earlier because I've got something else going on. So we are 1 hour before market close, just an FYI. So looking at the dollar here, it looks pretty stable, pretty steady. We've just been slowly leaking off in the dollar in terms of the DXY. So it's not having a large impact on a lot of assets like gold and maybe some of our commodities. So we're going to go and switch and look at yields because yields may have the larger determining factor of what's going on here. And yields have been steady, but they've been steadily climbing. This nice steady move higher. Momentum's to the upside. I don't necessarily see any reversal candlesticks. So higher yields, higher oil, higher yields. They're all they're all correlated to some degree. So the 2-year yield's continuing to move up. The 10-year yield also looks pretty good here to move higher, along with oil. And if I were to just show you guys just how correlated these things are, I'm going to put oil underneath. I mean, it's basically the same chart. Oil leads and then yields generally follow. And I do think oil is about to break out, and I think yields are probably going to follow and break to the upside is my guess. So this looks good. We're right up against resistance. It's a big flag pattern pull, and we're ready to hopefully, looks like it wants to go higher. And then the 30-year yield also at support, looking like it wants to try to work its way on up. So that also looks pretty good. And we're using that as support. There's the nice little breakout there, continuation up. So looking at the TYX TNX ratio, we are still compressed, pressing lower, which means that the yield curve is inverting. And it's not really helping gold at this time. Stronger dollar, stronger yields do not help the dollar and when the yield curve is inverting still. Bond prices down a little bit. This still looks good to go higher. Kind of confused here because yields look a little bit opposite than what this chart is telling me in bond prices. Prices going up means yields go down. Prices going down means yields go up. 2 and 10, we're down a little bit today, down about 1%, but we've been working our way higher, which means the yield curve's been inverted. Gold is flat, but still looks really good. It looks good. So as yields go up and it does its thing, this has been consolidating sideways. Silver also looks good. We're back to support. I like the physical metal here, guys. Gold, silver, all of them look pretty good. We're above the trend line. We're basically above support still, both support levels. And I'd like to see silver get a little bit of a bounce here. That's what I'm hoping for. That's not what I'm predicting. I'm hoping for that. Otherwise, I don't want to see this break to the downside and get a big old. Well, I mean, that would be fine too. I'd just buy more physical silver at some point, I guess. Platinum up 1.8%, still looking good. It's holding on to support. It's consolidating. I don't know if we've got the right market conditions at this exact moment, but it's consolidating. And palladium's also consolidating. It's bottoming out, I think. It's doing all right. XAU to gold ratio slightly lower. That is a bearish engulfing today. Kind of looks like that. And we could be trying to break out of this support trend line to the downside, but we'll see. Let's just hold our britches and let's wait and see. We do have some momentum coming back down in this ratio of gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. It very well could break, leading to further heartbreak for the gold and silver mining companies. CRB index up. I don't know if this is updated. It is. Oh, Tuesday, 27th. Break into the upside. Breakout for oil. Because oil is a big component of the CRB index, but that looks great. Let's run and run on up commodities. Let's hit this thing. And then we're up 1% against the S&P 500, which is good too. That is also good. So good news on the commodity front, and it's looking pretty good. GDX down a little bit. Um, man, we still have support, but still getting selling pressure in GDX. GDXJ, it looks okay. We've got a trend line there, and it looks like we're squeezing up, but momentum's to the downside, unfortunately. And SILJ, it's holding on. These are recoverable if we get some big buying pressure. We throw in like a bullish golfing or something like that. I will change my mind in a heartbeat if I see that. We just haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen that movement yet. And with yields going up, I'm more conservative in these sectors here. Crude oil, it's currently up 1.5%. It's about 78, 72 is what it reads. We could break here, guys. We get up here, we close. I'd say, 80 would be a clear breaking point if we can get up here and close. Um, then I think we're going to an up move. That would be a higher high. We've got higher lows. And then our highs are coming up. So basically, if we break here, I think we're good to go, man. This is going to look really, really good. TTF gas up 2.35%. That's looking good for the day. Obviously, momentum still to the downside, though. We've got natural gas. I think this is adjusted kind of weird because this is a futures rollover contract deal, but I know we're up today. I don't think we're up 9.16, but we are up today in natural gas, and that's looking better. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me. Again, it looks like we are trying to do some sort of breakage here to the upside, which could lead us into this resistance of the neckline, which could, if we break it, move to much, much higher levels to a land far, far, far away, with probably paved by a yellow brick road going all the way up here. If we break all that. But it looks good, and we've got a nice, good bullish candlestick on the monthly candlestick there. Let's look at the weekly real quick. Weekly is still just working its way slowly. OIH, which is the energy service companies, down a little bit today, surprisingly, but we are sitting on top of support. If we get a break to the upside, I think that we could see of oil. We could see this move on up for energy service companies. So that's looking okay. It's not great that we've got oil up 1.5%, and XOP and OIH are they're just sitting there waiting. The Sprout Physical Uranium Trust were up 3.71%. Nice big move today. Now, we want to watch this. The momentum is still to the downside. Yes, we've got a big candlestick today. Yes, our emotions may be running a little bit wild, saying I should buy a bunch of uranium. Let's see what occurs. We've got a big drop here, and sometimes this squeezes up and rolls over. So patience here is what the name of the game is. Patience. URA, again, it's all the same type of setup. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe this continues to rip, and that very well could be the case. But right now, the momentum's to the downside, and this could put in a flag pattern or some sort of squeezing up pattern or something like that, where it comes and you get another puking session. They usually fall not just in a straight line like this. Generally, you see like an ABC correction. So what occurs is you come up, and I don't know this for a fact, guys. I'm just kind of telling you, you come up in these waves, and then you get like a double top, and then you might see like a correction that looks like that, and then go. So again, I don't know what this correction will look like. That's why I don't trade the short term, but we could still see some downside, which is possible. URNM also moving on up. The momentum's to the downside. Now, what would be funny here and get a lot of people off guard is this a slingshot potential where it broke below this line here, this support line. People get all short, and then it slings them back and it rips it to the upside. That could be a possibility. Now, I'm not stating that's what will happen. Let's just see what occurs when we get back to this trend line up there, the support resistance line, and see if we either roll over or go back and forth a little bit, or if we punch through it. Um, all kind of interesting cases. We are against a bunch of support here. So we're in that support level. We're bouncing off that support. Let's see what the follow through is over the next few trading sessions. And same thing applies for URNJ. We're still underneath resistance. We want to see if we roll over or if we punch through. TAN up a little bit, 1.4%. Still looks like it's trying to bottom here. Bottoming at this support level. We've got copper up a little bit, and we are underneath resistance here, and we're right underneath it. We haven't punched through that yet. COPX, a little bit more positive, up 0.84%. And I do think that eventually this will work its way on up for copper and for the ETF. Lithium's up 1.7%, looking a little bit better. Is this a bottom? An ugly looking bottom, guys. Gee. But it could be. I mean, could be good to be sprinkling in at this juncture. I'm not really a big lithium guy, so I follow it, but I don't know the lithium sector is as good as some of the other sectors. REMX also looks like it's trying to work its way on up. It looks like we're right on resistance and we could be breaking here. So that looks better, looks a lot better than before. The S&P 500, it is slightly higher today, not really a confidence-inspiring day today, but again, let's see which way this thing breaks. If we break down, which is a rising wedge, and generally those break down, so we'll see what occurs. And then the NASDAQ doing the same thing. We're squeezing on up. Generally that breaks lower, but for some reason, NASDAQ and S&P have been breaking through whatever patterns they have been creating. So we'll see. Is this going to be a double top? Looks like a pretty good run momentum-wise in the monthly to the upside. So that momentum is still there. We'll see if it turns. KRE, which is the regional banking ETF, still looking all right. It's holding on, just moving sideways. And that still looks good to go higher. We've got emerging markets, which flat dollar, flat yields were up a little bit. So that's not really conducive. We want the dollar to drop for EEM to go up. XHB also working its way on up, basically in the face of rising yields. But home builders looking good for the ETF. MOO moving sideways, but still looks good to move higher, along with, I think, the overall general commodity complex. And we are back against support down here, which is a good thing. You've got support right underneath you. Iron ore, up 0.12%. Still looks like we have some downside momentum, but we can throw some some trend lines on this bad boy, and it does look like we're trying to squeeze up to some degree here. We'll see if this is valid. Let's wait. Let's need to get some green army candlesticks in here first. Aluminum up a little bit, 0.83%. I think it was yesterday. No, it's today. It's doing all right today. It's holding on. Baltic Dry Index up a little bit. We're moving on up with the Baltic Dry Index. It actually looks very good. I think we were up today looking at some of the dry bulk shipping. I think we were up like 3 or 4%, if I can remember, when I was looking at some of the information. Newcastle coal futures this looks like a bottom, guys. This looks like it wants to go higher. This is a bullish engulfing on the monthly. If we can close pretty strong on the month, I do think that we'll probably start working our way on up. So that's looking better there for sure. Bitcoin just ripping it. Looks like people are really starting to run into this thing. And it looks like it could continue higher. And then Ethereum's also looking pretty good and that we could continue higher. No big pullback, no reversal candlesticks. Everything looks good. And then SMCI, this is still looking like it's consolidating. And then let's take a look at NVIDIA just for the heck of it. NVIDIA looks like it's consolidating. Doesn't look bad. It's just consolidating sideways, not a reversal candlestick at this time. So that's what I'm seeing out in the markets, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We still have the discount coupon code LEAP, LEAP. If you want to try it out, it's 50% off for the first month. If you like it, you can also convert to a yearly membership if you would like to. That discount is still there. We have question and answer session coming up at 7 a.m. Saturday. Don't forget about it if you want to partake in it. And that's Mountain Time. You can ask whatever questions. This weekend, I might dive and talk about companies more so, at least the ones that I really like, the ones that I know, and maybe a little bit about how I've positioned in terms of position sizing and all that stuff as well. I think it is highly important to get the position size right for what I deem to be a good risk reward setup. People generally, the retail sector takes on too much risk for the reward that could potentially pay out. So basically, you've got a risk reward kind of factor times the probability. And you don't know these things with like 100% certainty. You kind of do it off the cuff to some degree. You say, okay, well, what's the probability of this going up? Where are we located? Are we at a cheap location to be entering into these companies? I use ratios and stuff like that to identify that. If the answer is yes, it's cheap. Yes, it's bottoming. Yes, we've got good risk reward. Yes, this company has a high probability. Boom, 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 boom. And all these things kind of line up. That's kind of where I like to step in with some money and some size to put on an investment, not a trade, an investment where we're moving on up. And I've been in some of these companies since 2020. I'm still riding. Those oil and gas companies that I was very bullish in 2020, I'm still in them. Still riding these bad boys. It is a um, fun ride. It's a fun ride. Very volatile. So that's what I've got. And we'll catch you guys later. This is Finding Value.